Brad, I asked you before the game about the foul shooting. In the fourth quarter, you guys didn't even take a free throw. Was that a matter of just settling or turning it over? Or?
Well, I thought we were trying to get in the paint, but we were doing it pretty haphazardly. I just didn't think we had anything good going offensively after the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and I thought that was really hard for us. And we were chipping away and coming back into it. We started off the third quarter great, and then Paul George made Paul George plays coming out of the timeout, and we didn't respond to their run at all.
Evan Turner with a pretty efficient night. I mean, did you sense a little bit more juice in him coming into a game against his former team? I mean, do you believe in any of that kind of stuff?
I think you'd have to ask him that. I mean, I think he's a prideful guy, but I don't think he's like, vindictive guy. So I would say that, he just wants to play well because he's a prideful basketball player. And the reality is he knows that this is a business and that very few guys play on one team their whole careers. So, he's just trying to play well, and he did play really well. He was certainly a shining spot for us on both ends.
Brett, what did you see? You meant that during that last 7 minutes, I think there were like 7 turnovers and obviously some missed shots. What do you see that was kind of going wrong?
I think, if I would have had to do over again, probably would have called a little bit more. We felt like we had some transition opportunities that closed up pretty quickly. I felt like we were actually getting into the paint a little bit, but then, they just swarmed us. So, we just need to be more efficient in that moment. Start of the game, end of the game, both not very good.
RJ, or Coach,
yeah.
When I asked you about RJ and Terry, and you played those guys together a little bit more extensively earlier in the game than maybe we've seen in the past. Talk about what you saw in those guys in the minutes that they got tonight.
Twofold, I trust them, number one. Number two is Smart, hadn't done anything in a week. And Avery was out.
Was Marcus pretty much predictably pretty rusty out there?
Yeah, I have to ask him. I thought he did some good things from obviously he got to the foul line in that run at the end of the second quarter, but he looked rusty, I thought. But that's to be expected. The bad part is in this league, you don't get a couple days of practice before you have to play. I mean, it's basically games are, you can figure out different ways to get your rust out, but I think he feels good, which is a good sign moving forward.
Brad, it seemed like they were forcing Isaiah to kind of freelance, and they forced him to make a lot of decisions and force things. Did you sense that?
I thought they really clamped down on him. They really closed the lanes on him, and they forced us to make some shots, and we didn't. And at the same time, I think that we can do a better job of making one extra pass off one extra screen and one extra part of execution to get better shots, and that's I've got to do a better job of calling them. I saw a couple of plays in transition that I thought would be good opportunities and just didn't call anything.
Brett, one more. Is this going to be until teams figure things out and get cohesion? Is this how the East is going to be? One night up, maybe next night down, with so many evenly balanced teams?
It's a good team. I mean, I think Indiana's good, and I think they've got one of the best players in the NBA, and then they've got another guy that's a closer in the NBA in Ellis. So I'm not surprised that this is a good team that's giving us fits. I mean, I think that they're going to give a lot of people fits.
Brad, last week after the loss to the Spurs, you said that you guys just couldn't throw the ball into the ocean. Tonight you were 4 of 24 from three-point range. Do you think that's kind of the same deal tonight?
I think that I thought that our offensive execution was better in that game than it was tonight, but I'll go back and look and figure that out. We had probably some more random lineups because of the need to switch, because they really exposed us early with their skill when at this very start of the game. So we need to figure out a way to be more productive when we play those lineups on offense.
Hi, Coach. Just following up a little bit on Gary and what I asked you at practice the other day about consistency. But I think you kind of talked about it when you're scrambling for a lineup the way they were.
Well, I feel really good about knowing what each guy brings, and hey, there's a reason Paul George is Paul George. You know, I mean, I think that that's a great credit to him. I mean, he gets every most difficult assignment. He scores twice in the post, and you change matchups and try somebody else, and then he scores again, and you change it again. And there's a reason there's certain guys that are at an elite level, right? And I think that, you know, we've got a lot of young guys that aspire to be really good players, and a big part of that is being a very good player every night.
Are you amazed that he's come back? Are you amazed the way he's come back?
Not from what I've heard about his work ethic. So I would say that, you know, but it's credit to him. He's come back as good as he left.
Brad, you ran a lot of plays early in the game to get open threes on the right elbow. Are you trying to run plays to get open threes early in the game to try to establish that?
Well, we're just trying to take the right shot. And, you know, every one of our actions and options would start at the rim. But the rim gets congested if you're not making shots. And these guys did a great job of protecting the rim, being physical without fouling on some of our drives, and all of those types of things. They really did a great job on us. You know, I thought that we had a couple of spurts in the game that felt really good, but I thought scoring was a grind tonight.